after sentence, architecture of pure denial. The curator carves the collective throat. Silence is the only currency accepted. We offer our eyes to the blank expanse, and anesthetized by the correct perspective. The wall is a bleach bone verdict, bleak, sterile, absolute. Observe the porcelain faces, teeth like picket fences, pearls strangling the throat of reason. They nod to the monomatic god. Four corners of a calculated void. Is it art or a psychic lobotomy? The frame acts as a cage for the unseen, distorted figures in silk shrouds, clutching cocktails like holy relics. Polished, refined, hollow. The white paint is a mask for decay, entropy hidden beneath the enamel. Time corrodes the edges of the vision. The gallery is a tomb of the present. We are statues in a freezing climate. Obey the geometry of the state. Scream into the linen texture. No sound escapes the highest ceiling. The organocus of the empty space. Calculated, cold, final. The canvas devours the room. I am becoming a pigment, a stain on the pristine surface. The white swallows the history. The white swallows the history. The white swallows the pulse. Only the opinion remains, only the void remains. Correct, pure, pure, dead, dead. Descending. Deep. Deep. Subduction's own trajectory is a heavy drag. 400 atmospheres of vertical weight pressing hard. Visual impulse is a total zero. Just the chemical pulse of life in the black. Luciferin ignites the void in rhythmic burst. An asymmetrical dance of predatory light. No acoustics in this sector, just the crushing logic of the trench. Bathymetric data confirms the descent is solid. Marine snowflakes descend like slow rain. The roads echoes in the liquid delay. Bowed bass vibrations mimicking tectonic shifts. A world of pure sensation minus the gas. Floating cephalopods with translucent skin drift past the glass. The quartz is cold against the skin, a mathematical proof of being alone. Gravity is a tired myth in this space. The mind expands to fill the oceanic volume. Isostic balance is lost in the brine. Every nerve ending is a sensor for the weight. Every thought is a sudden burst in the dark. We are far from the surface crowd, buried in the velvet density of the deep, calculating the distance to the floor. Ascension is a theory we do not need right now. Alien structures of cartilage move in the perimeter. The light language is a code we cannot crack. Silent signals across the thermal vents. Total stillness, total movement. The abyss is a giant eye that never shuts. Absolute zero in the heart of the world. Pressure, the weight, 0, 0. Is white, the wall is white, the wall is white, white, the space is wide, the space is wide, the space is wide, wide. Correct is the gaze, correct is the gaze, correct is the gaze. The view is clear, the view is clear, the view is clear. All is revealed. All is revealed, all. Nothing is hidden, nothing is hidden, nothing is hidden, hidden. Is white, white. The frame is the world, frame is the world. The frame is the world, the phrenetic gaze, a chromatic gaze, a chromatic mind, a chromatic mind, a chromatic mind. Your mind. The absence is whole, the absence is whole, the absence is whole, whole. The absence is all, absence is all, absence is all, absence. Nothing is here, nothing is here, nothing is here, nothing is here, nothing is here. The wall is white, the wall is white, white, white. Silence, silence. Check, check. The rain is coming down, hard on the tin roof, hard. He leaned against the brick, told me he was home, but his boots were soaking wet and his eyes were looking chrome. I dig the way he crawled. Oh. I dig the way he talks, smooth as a velvet coat, but there is hitch in his breath, way down in his throat. My gut don't ever lie, it is a heavy kind of weight. Sitting in my belly, deciding on his fate, deciding fate. his hands, making such a mess. Clicking like a gun. Tell me the truth, baby, for the native. Tired of this done. I am trying to play me for a girl who has gone insane. That alibi is thin, thinner than a dime, so thin. You were not in your bed doing all that time. I see the story cracking like a window in the heat. You better start talking before you hit the street, before you hit the street in the blue. Just a hunch, the truth, keep it coming.
Dig it. Dig it. Oh. Asphalt stretching out like a long black tongue. Heat is a heavy coat, Mojave wind in my hair, wind in my hair. No map needed, just the line. The white line. The steady pulse under the wheels. Chrome and dust pulling into the shack. Squeaky fan overhead, cutting the thick air. The waitress has a name, stitched in red thread, Pearl. She knows the drill. She knows. She knows. She brings the water before I even ask. A shared look over a cold glass, ice rattling against the side. That is the soul jazz. That is the rhythm. No big talk required. Just a nod. Just a nod. Between two travelers in the midday sun. Back in the seat, top down, spirit up, asphalt zen, asphalt zen. The road is a teacher. The road is a teacher. Catch the groove. Do not fight the heat. Just be the heat, let the bass lead into the blue. Walking on, walking home. Dig it, asphalt zen. The long road, dig it. The white light falls across the heavy bench. The air is still and smells of ozone rain. I wait for the first sign of movement before the clock begins to strike its beat. Observe the way the liquid slowly moves. The cylinder is cold and perfectly clear. I search for logic in the invisible. the patterns that we never truly see, the patterns that we never truly see. We never see. The dial points toward a steady truth, a balance found within the heavy air. We measure time in tiny vibrations, finding order in the wild and the small. Finding the order. It is a divine kind of tension, a quiet power waiting in the dark. We hold the world inside a glass bowl and pray our hands remain completely still, holding it still. So let the elements begin to dance in a grand and silent geometry. The truth is always there to be found underneath the surface of the day. Symmetry, symmetry, symmetry. The slide is clean. Symmetry, symmetry. Wait for the reaction to begin. Symmetry, symmetry. The ice is thinning in the glass, just me and the salt air tonight. Quiet now, everything is quiet. White linen flapping on the rail, a bit of citrus on my tongue. The tide is checking out, leaving shells for the poor folks. You were a high stakes bet, and I played it with a heavy hand. Now the balcony is twice as wide and the spray hits a little colder. As your solitude drowning in the deep blue tint, no sirens calling from the rocks, just the rhythm of the swell. As your solitude sipping on the indigo and me. You had that Riviera stride, a pocket full of loaded dice. Eve loaded dice. We traded heat for a breeze, then the breeze turned to a gale. Now the harbor lights blink with gale. It's a blinking slave. Now the harbor lights are blinking slow, sending signals I can't read. It's a long way down to the sand, but the view is worth the sting. Do buddies outside, shooby-doo-wah, shooby-doo-wah, skip that bada-bee. Your solitude drowning in the deep blue tint, those sirens calling from the rocks, just the rhythm of the swell. As your solitude sipping on the indigo and me. Oh, the flugelhorn is crying wet, toe spray, wash it all away. Smooth, real smooth, just the blue and yours. Copper sky hanging heavy and low, rivers pushing hard past the bank, stilts are groaning under the weight. I'm just watching the water climb, watching it climb. Trade a breath for a mouthful of steam, stroll across the planks like they aren't sinking. Muscle in the water, muscle into knee. Sliding like a reed through a muddy hole, sliding like a reed through a muddy hole. Watch the cottonmouth make a silver line, cutting through the ripples of the past. Deep bass thumping in the belly of the shack, rattling the teeth of the dead, rattle the teeth. Flash of white across the marsh, silent boom of the heavy clouds. The past is a slow leak you can't plug with a thumb. Drink the dark from a cracked mason jar, sipping slow while the porch goes under. Secrets a heavy weight in the pocket, dragging me down to the channel floor. Mud is a witness that never talks back, just pulls you in by the heels, pulls you in. That river pulse is my only clock, tick-tock in the mud and the reed. Thicker than water, heavier than lead. It's just the bayou blood in the vein. Bayou blood is a thick melody, darker than the river silt, cooler than the evening rain. Let the water take the keys, let the water take the tune, take the tune. Lord have mercy. Heat lightning jumping across that black water. Heat lightning jumping
is creeping through the floorboards. Air as heavy as a wet wool coat. Silent lightning splits the sky without making a single sound. The bullfrog starts to moan, waiting for the sky to break. The tide is rising slow and black, washing clean the things I did. The swamp is breathing down my neck, taking back what it lent to me. The bayou keeps its mouth shut while the water covers up my sins. That old clarinet is wailing thin, like a ghost caught in the reeds. Small sparks dance above the grass, telling tales I never told. The moss is hanging like a veil to hide what is left of me. The tide is rising slow and black, washing clean the things I did. The swamp is breathing down my neck, taking back what it lent to me. The bayou keeps its mouth shut while the water covers up my sins. Wait for the water, wait for the dark. Let the river have its way, let it go. I ain't running from the flood, I am just sitting on this porch, watching everything I own sink beneath the heavy blue. The wood is soaking up the salt until I cannot feel my feet. The tide is rising slow and black, washing clean the things I did, taking back what it lent to me. The bayou keeps its mouth shut while the water covers up my sins. Taking it back down to the bottom of the sill.
Heat lightning flashing, looking through my door. Heat lightning flashing, looking through my door. The river is rising, can't hide no more. Fireflies in the weeds, they got 1,000 eyes. Fireflies in the weeds, they got 1,000 eyes. They got 1,000 eyes, watching every move under these heavy skies. They watching you. Old wood is moaning, shifting on the sand. Floorboards are moaning, shifting on the sand. I got a fever that no doctor understands. Muddy water on the porch, tasting all my sin. Muddy water on the porch, tasting all my sin. Open up the latch and let the judgment in. is hanging like a graveyard gown. The moss is hanging like a graveyard gown. Black water coming, Lord, I'm sinking down. Sinking down, down in the mud. Sinking down. Sinking down.
Top shelf, deep paper scent, steam rising from the cup, cool gray tea, rain tap tapping on the glass. I am a guest among the ghosts, trace the spine, feel the grain of the cloth, dry ink, black on the bone. The words are stacked like cordwood, waiting for a light. I pull a volume from the stack, hold it close. The binding cracks a little sigh, like a door that hasn't moved in years. Maybe the rain will never stop. Flood the street, wash the pavement clean. I'll stay right here in the dust, in the silence of the shelves, safe behind the wall of print. Margins fold, notes in a fine hand, pencil lead in old regrets. I put the book back in its place. Let it sleep, let it sleep. The tea is cold now, but the room is full of voices that I choose not to speak. Just a look, just a breath between the pages. Stay a while in the corner where the light is soft, quiet, quiet now.
Snap. Snap. The sidewalk is melting. I brought the heat down these stairs. It sticks to my collar like a bad habit. The bass thumps. A slow debt I will never pay. This porcelain holds the void, black as a coal miner's lung. No sugar. Sugar is for the hopeful. I prefer the sting of the roast. Above us, the boots are clicking. Busy feet racing to an exit. The flute curves around the pillar. A snake in a silk suit, breathless and blue. One more sip of the bitter truth. My pockets are empty. My head is heavy with the why. We stay in the cellar until the world stops spinning. Snap, bitter, black water snap. Thump, thump, scrape the heel across the grain. The wood remembers the grit. Kick the bucket over, cobalt pigment biting hard into the thirsty white pine planks. My heavy boots scrape a jagged rhythm on the histories of every single yesterday's failures. Hits the board like a gunshot. Sharp, hit it hard. The floorboards drink the turpentine and wait for the next attack. Dig the brush deep into the tube and push the oil until the bristle snaps. I am chasing a blue that tastes like salt and sounds like a trumpet bell. This 10 by 10 loft is a boxing ring where the color always wins. Angular strokes cutting through the static of the morning air. Look at the smear. It is an urban strut frozen in a pool of wet lipus. I am testifying to the drip. The arc of my arm is a heavy swing across the meridian of the mind. No lines to hold us back. Just the pure muscle of the pigment hitting the surface with a wet slap. Can you feel the heat of the blue? Testify. It is a sermon of the hand and the heart and the wood under my feet. White is the silence before the horn starts to wail, but the blue is the truth of the bruise. The floorboards keep my secrets while I burn the rest of the day away. One more strike against the void. One more. The paint is the only thing that speaks the truth today. Blue on white. Scrape it. Let it dry on the floor. White. The wood knows what we did here today. On white. Stop. Just stop. Sand turning cold, feet deep in the dust. The fire is low now. Fire is river in the sky. White river in the sky. Cactus moon rising. Cactus moon. Cactus moon rising. Cactus moon. Clinging to the stone, the desert knows the way, desert knows the way. Silver light on the thorn, silver light on the thorn. Cactus moon rising, cactus moon rising, cactus moon. I am learning to stay, learning to stay still. Follow the sound, follow the sound into the open. Cactus moon, cactus moon. The fan blades turn, cutting through the heavy air. Another folder rests on wood, gray dust on a name. The blue ink looks like veins, frozen on the white page. The metal strikes the ribbon, making duplicate of the end, a carbon copy of the end, a carbon copy of the fall. It is always the same. Repeating in the dark. The clock does not move. The city is a gray stain. The clock does not move. The city is a gray stain. Outside the glass, just paper and ash left behind. Carbon copy. Carbon copy, a duplicate of the end. Carbon copy.
The pulse, the pulse, the pulse, the pulse, the pulse, the pulse. The pulse is here, the pulse is now. The soul is free, the movement is one. The pulse is here, the pulse is now. We are the light. Oh, we are the light. We are the sound. The energy is here. The pulse now. Looking down from the 5th floor, just me and the cold wind off the lake. Rusted iron pressing hard against my palms. Down below the traffic moves in steady waves. Everyone is running to reach somewhere else, but I am anchored to this metal rail. Small orange ember burning in the dark, the only heat I need tonight. Give me a taste of that Chicago blue, watching the smoke drift toward the water. This thin gray line is my only friend. High above the noise and the greed, so high above it all, just a moment to breathe it in. The world is heavy with the weight of power. Men in suits chasing after paper crowns. They build their towers but forget the ground. My father told me to keep my head, find a sanctuary when the pace gets wild. So I stand where the air turns sharp, holding on to the Chicago blue, watching the smoke drift toward the water. This thin gray line is my only friend. High above the noise and the greed, so high above it all, just a moment to breathe it in. Street lamps look like pearls on a string, broken glass shining on the wet pavement. It is a long way down to the sidewalk, but I feel steady in the rising haze. Nothing can touch me on this ledge, drifting away. Chicago blue, it is just me and the night. Higher than the siren, so high, sweet solitude on the fire escape. Chicago blue. Grid of tiles, perpendicular precision, chrome handles reflecting the fluorescent tube. Snap of the toaster lever, vertical jump, tungskin heat radiating immediate sharp. Rhythm in the linoleum patterns, azimuthal squares, aqua and gray. Calculate a velocity of the morning star, silver cylinder bubbling with the dark brew. Bubble, bubble, purr. A metallic condensation on the window pane, horonital blinds slicing the early sun. An answer sufficiency, no wasted motion. Temperature rising to the optimal point. Geometric certainty in every glass, poured with the grace of a swinging pendulum. shift in the frequency, a jagged edge, the atomic age condensed into a teaspoon. Rapid heartbeat, syncopated teen. Rapid heartbeat, sweep the Dimenter. Watch the second hand sweep the Dimenter. Wait for the resolution that never arrives. Back to the rhythm of the polished surface, Teflon, formica, stainless steel sheen, the future taste of zinc and electric acceleration. Exit the frame with a rhythmic step, the choreography of the suburban day, balanced on the edge of a sharpened blade. Oh, chrome reflecting the absolute now. Orly is cold for a Tuesday. You hold that suitcase too tight. Your eyes scan the crowd, looking for a face that isn't mine. I read the marks on your collar, the invisible ink of a life lived fast. Every gesture is a code. I finally learned how to break. The tape reel spins, a rhythmic click against the tile. You check your watch, counting down the seconds to disappear. The flight is called in French. The departure gate feels like an end. The cipher is solved, but I have nothing left to read. Nothing left in C major. Nothing left.
Blackstone bites the iron floor. Feed the mouth that screams for more. Feed the mouth that screams for more. Steam is rising through the grate. River mud is heavyweight. River mud is heavyweight. River mud is heavyweight. So heavy now. Muscle snaps like a salted rope, trading sweat for a bit of hope. Shovel clicks a rhythm on the plate. Work the fire till the light is straight. The big muddy wants to pull us down, drag this boat to a silent town. too. Yeah. Hey kid, watch the lip of that curve. Hey kid, watch the lip of that curve. I used to own this air. Now I'm just a guy on a wall. 50 seconds, don't sleep. It choose the slow ones. My shoes are worn thin. My shoes are worn thin. But your lungs are still silver. The piano is screaming. The drums want your blood. Give it to them. Every last drop. Every last drop. I'm crossing the street now. Don't mind the silence behind me. The rhythm is yours. Blow it until the sky breaks. Higher, keep moving. Don't look back. Don't look back. Yeah.
The light is cutting through the blind. It hurts to keep my eyes on you. The water's gone stone cold and gray. The party ended long ago. Confetti on the floor, scattered on the floor, washed out in the morning sun. Did I say I love you, or did I just say good night? Say good night. I find a ribbon by the sink, a glass is broken in the hall. My dress is wrinkled on the rug. I can't recall the melody. Help me pick the pieces up, sweep the glitter to the wall. Was it you who held me close? Was it you who held me close? I can't find the truth at all. Not at all. Confetti on the floor, washed out in the morning sun. Did I say I love you? was a dishing point affixed at the intersection angle of descent. 0.5 millimeters. Horizontal shift, the grid is precise. Calculate the gap between your shoulder and mine. Parallel lines do not touch. Infinite extension without contact, a perfect void. Subtract the breath, divide the skin. Coordinate X is lost. Rounding error. Deviation in the pattern. Vector is 0. Vector toward the exit. Plot the point. Plot the point. 0, 0.
Lick the brass valve. The taste is copper and blood. 70 fathoms of salt. The Atlantic is a fist closing on the lungs. Press the tongue to the glass. Cold metal, dead air. Suck the hose for mercy. There is no mercy in the brine. Slow pulse of the bass. Everything moves through oil. The helmet is a cathedral. The helmet is a cage. My skin is turning to rust. Listen to the rivet pop. 1, 2, God. The weight is holy, the weight is final. Nitrin boils in the veins like hot mercury. Look at the chemical light, the fish have no eyes, they carry lamps of bone. Chemical road, chemical road. It is not a light, it is a trap. Open the mouth and drink. Drink the heavy water. Stark silence. The cord is severed, an umbilical of air. Torn like wet paper. 50 BPM. 50 BPM. My heart mimics the gong. I am a statue of salt in a suit of ancient brass. The pressure is my bride. Copper on the tongue. Brine in the throat dissolving. Dissolving. Down, down, transmission. The water is inside now.
Into the white heat, the glass lens stares me down. Silk moves like water, cold and sharp against my skin. Click, click, I am the line they drew, a shape without a name. Pearls heavy on my neck, each step a calculator risk, 1,000 eyes in the dark, waiting for a stumble. But the rhythm is in my blood, stiff collar, high chin, so high. I own the air in this room, wrapped in expensive blue. They want the dress, not the girl. I give them what they need. The flash is the only sun I know. Burning for a second, then leaving in the gray. I am a sketch come to life, moving through the smoke until the music fades. I have no heart of my own, while the cameras watch me play. Just a turn and a gaze. Mylan is watching my feet. Mylan is watching my feet, counting every heavy beat. Left, right, I am the couture silhouette, vanishing, vanishing into the light. Silhouette, click, click, vanishing, click.
The Thames is heavy tonight, thick enough to carve into blocks. London is sleeping, but the water never rests. Gray velvet hangs over the pier, hiding the cranes and the coal. The manifest says it arrived, but Dock 3 is perfectly bare, perfectly bare. Only the salt air remains. The harbor bell counts the hour, a hollow sound in the damp. Men in wool coats passed by, looking for things best left lost, best left lost, under the iron and stone. Peace is a strange kind of burden. After the sirens go still, we trade in what we can find. In crates that go over the side into the black and the cold. The tide pulls the secret away toward the mouth of the sea, of the sea. I will light a match for the ghost of whatever was meant to be here, meant to be here. Watching the fog roll in, just the bells lost at Dock 3, vocal ad lib. Double agent. Snap the clasp on the case, microphone pressed to the skin. I see switchbacks on the ridge, altitude biting the lungs. Take a breath. Keep the cool in the cockpit. Silk tie straight while the tires scream. The pass is narrow, but the nerve is wide. Punch it through the barricade, ruby beams tracing the paint. Brass cases hitting the floor, shift, slide, drift the apex. Go, go. Transmission grinding out a rhythm, piston slapping the cold air. Heavy weights swinging the steering, ripping through the frozen timber. Needle pinning on the dial, adrenaline like a cold gin. One hand on the stick shift, leaving the hounds in the dust. Far behind. Trust is a debt I never pay. The sky is a bruise on the stone. A single frame of film worth more than the life I lead. Everything is collateral when the mountain starts to talk. Descending to the lakeshore, black water waiting for the drop. Half a mile to the extraction, double agent blue is moving on, vanishing in the whiteout before the sun hits the peaks. The mission is the only pulse, the speed is the only truth. Gone, just a ghost in the gravel, double agent blue. The white settles on the pine branches, heavy and silent against the glass, heavy and silent against the glass. I watch the world disappear underneath the sheet of frozen lace. It was different when you were here, so different then. Now the embers are losing their red. I try to hold on to the fading heat, but the winter is a patient thief, taking every memory of our summer, leaving me in the deep blue quiet, so quiet now. The porch boards are groaning, complain about the weight of the ice. I remember how we the ice. I remember how we stood there, watching the green things grow for the sky turned this shade of gray. The sky is heavy, now the embers are losing their red. I try to hold on to the fading heat, but the winter is a patient thief, taking every memory of our summer, leaving me in the deep blue quiet. So quiet now. They say the seasons always turn, that the light will find this floor again. But tonight the world feels infinite, and the distance between us is wider than the valley floor. So far away. Now the embers are losing their red. I try to hold on to the fading heat, but the winter is a patient thief, taking every memory of our summer, leaving me in the deep blue quiet. The fire is almost gone, just a little smoke in the air. I'm waiting for the thaw, waiting, still waiting for you in the cold. The winter is long.
Check the mic. Wall. 1, 2. You stepped inside with heavy violet. The perfume hangs like a thick curtain, so thick. A story about a silver watch. Pastorins are shaking tonight, but your hands are shaking tonight. The red light burns above the door, watching every word you drop. The typewriter keys are marking time, matching the pulse in your neck. Click, clack, click. That lace is frayed along the edges, caught on a wire you didn't see. Evidence is sticking to your skin, mixed with the salt of your skin. The horns are shouting through the glass, chasing the words you try to hide behind that little black veil. Everything is coming unspun. You can't breathe in this booth. Evidence caught in the white threads. The microphone hears the truth now. The truth. Turn off the light and pull the plug. You left your scent and your crimes. Goodbye to the lady in the lace. The lady in lace. On air, off air, the scent remains. Violet lies. The evening air is heavy and cold. The silver moon watches over Ginza. We are building a life from the stones where the grand hall once stood in the quiet of 1952. White petals fall on the fresh pavement, a silent dance in the middle of May. The world is different now, but the sky remains the same. But the sky remains the same, the same. We sit by the window of this small bar, a glass of wine and a heavy heart. The cranes are tall against the night, reaching for a distant star. The maps have all been read wrong, the names of the lanes are new. I find myself searching for a house that vanished in the fire. But the wind carries a familiar song. Look at the branches of the trees. Buds are waiting for the sun to rise. The Ginza moon is high and clear, washing away the past, while we learn how to love Sakura on the wind, silver on the stone. The night is grand and blue in our Ginza tonight, tonight.
The pedal feels light beneath my soul, passing through columns of sapphire and ink. The dashboard is the only clock that matters. Time is just a suggestion in this lane. I see my face in the glass of the window, half in the dark in the halogen. It feels like the way my mind works lately, to find the quiet, moving through the spectrum of the night. No destination, just the steady pulse, finding the rhythm in the dark, while the violet beams wash over me. The streets are rivers made of cooling tar. I drift like a leaf on a slow current, remembering how we used to talk about leaving. Now the silence is a friend I trust, but the engine keeps a warmth inside. Every red light is a chance to breathe before the green sends me back to the flow. Back to the flow. Through the spectrum of the night, no destination, just the steady pulse, finding the rhythm in the dark, while the violet beams wash over me. The horizon is still a long way off, keeping the dark on my left side, letting the violet guide the way. Just the pulse, just the movement, just the movement. Steady now, steady now, steady now. Yeah.
The salt air leans against the glass. Ice melts slowly in my hand. I watch the movement of the fans sliding across the wooden floor. You were standing by the door where the light meets the dark. Your eyes were a quiet question I had no need to answer. We moved like the evening tide, a dance that had no name. Now the music is a memory lingering in the warm air. The trumpet finds a lonely note floating over the sound of the drums. I still feel the weight of your hand resting lightly on my waist. The city moves on without us, turning its face to the sea. Everything is exactly as it was, except for the space beside me. Just a trace of your scent on the collar of my dress, my silk dress. The night is long and soft, long and soft. The night is long and soft. The season has changed. The bags are all gone. We are just wait now. The water is blue. The drift goes on. The water is blue. The drift goes on.
is turning, the world is waking. Ink on paper, life on stone. The word is true. The word is true. True, the word is rising. The morning edition. The morning edition. The morning edition. The morning, the word is born. Is born. Is born. Is born. Born.
The terminal curvature mimics the Earth's arc. Idlewild blue. Observed through the sheer glass of the concourse, asphalt expands in a series of gray polygons, stretching toward a blue zenith without clouds. Watching the baggage tractors pivot on a dime. Everything is synchronized in monorist geometry. Not a single backward glance is permitted, only the cool calculation of transverse motion. This ticket is a rigid cardboard rectangle. The altitude pressed firmly against a moistening palm, the key to an immediate Strace-perfect exit, oxygen canisters and cobalt woolopolatry, hiding the gaze behind dark aceted frames. Measuring the nautical miles and knots, discarding the weight of the terrestrial past, velocity remains the singular absolute truth. Kerosene combustion initiates in the heavy marrow. A low-frequency vibration travels through the souls, disturbing the stillness of Italian calfskin leather. The app is into a crystalline barrier, waiting for the sharp silver needles to pierce. Tension accumulates within the pressurized fuselage, anticipating the violent rupture of gravity as we ascend the steep ladder of the wind. Above the Long Island Sound, the unknown Idlewild diminishes to a meticulous grid, reduced to the scale of dollhouse as a sharpened razor, excising the remnants of the previous year. Full indigo immersion in the air altitudes. The unknown is the ultimate final destination, where the oxygen's scarce and crystalline. Leather hard against the spine. Shift the gear, watch the needle jump. 80 miles of jagged rock. Salt air biting the paint, your silk scarf snaps. A whip in the slipstream. The the salt on my skin. Sun sinking like a heavy stone, sky bruised purple and deep, no words left in the tank, just the horizon pulling away. Tires drone a low note, dust on the dashboard, you look toward the sea. I watch the road curve, a clean break, sharp as the cliff edge. The light fails first, then the engine heat failing. Indigo horizon, cool air on the chrome, indigo fading out. The snow is on the glass, the ink is in the pen. I watch the trolley pass, I watch the trolley pass. I count from 1 to 10, the radiator sighs, the winter never ends. I look into the sky, where every star descends. I'm holding the envelope tight, I'm losing the battle tonight. The stamps are all stuck in a row with nowhere for letters to go. Ink and eyes, ink and eyes, read my mind, read my heart. Every word is a cold sacrifice. Brooklyn keeps us a borough apart. Ink and eyes. The brownstone steps are white, the street is very still. I try so hard to write, I lack the iron will. The ink begins to dry, the paper stays so clean. A girl like me should try to say just what I mean. I'm holding the envelope, I'm holding the envelope tight. I'm losing the battle tonight. The stamps are all stuck in a row with nowhere for letters to go. Ink and eyes, ink and eyes, read my mind, read my heart. Every word is a cold sacrifice. Brooklyn keeps us a borough apart. Ink and eyes, ink and eyes. Maybe I don't want you to know, maybe I'm just scared of the snow. I have a drawer full of things I didn't say. I have a heart that is getting in the way. Don't look at me, just look at the page. Ink and eyes, ink and eyes, read my heart, every keeps us a borough apart. Ink and eyes, ink and eyes, read my heart is a cold sacrifice. Brooklyn keeps us a borough apart. Ink and eyes. The ink is dry, the ice is cold. Ink and eyes.
The floor plate shudders, my grip is a vice. Heat drags across my skin. We are mending the frame. A heavy rhythmic thud drives the marrow deep. The crane pulls a load. Another hour bought. Just one more. The whistle screams, steam clouds the exit. I see my hands, I see my hands. They look like the walls, hard like stone. The town is waking up behind these iron bars. I feel the rhythm move. It is a steady pulse, a steady pulse. Walking home, holding the line. Rain on the stone, rain on the stone. Rain slaps the brim of my felt hat hard, tapping a syncopated rhythm on the slick black top. I'm tracking a ghost in a gray trench coat. He slipped past the pillars of the Drake Hotel, gone before the traffic light turned from green to red. This city is a trap, laid with whetstones and bad intentions. Heel tap, backtrack, checking the damp matchbook inside my pocket. Blue ink bleeding into the cheap paper like a bruise. The lake wind kicks a metal trash can down the empty street, clatter and bang and echo against the brick walls. I'm digging for a lead that refuses to bite back. Keep moving or the damp cold catches your spirit and slows your pulse. The city is a jagged puzzle with 3 missing pieces, zigzagging through the loop while the iron tracks rattle and shake the sky. The elevated train screams overhead like a dying horn in a minor key, and I'm screaming inside, but I keep my chin tucked down against the wind. Stay cool in the heat of the chase, even when the rain is ice. Don't let the Chicago rain get into your tired bones. Just push against the dark that wants to swallow the truth whole. Back to the corner estate in Maine where it started. The labyrinth of blue closes its heavy doors. I see a single red tail light dip into the thick fog, cut the engine of the mind. Wait for the lucky break. Tomorrow is just another name for the same long tonight. One more block to go. keep walking. The rhythm of the street never ends.
Dig the way the big leaf leans, it's got a heavy look tonight. Walking down to the salt edge, I feel a pair of eyes on my back. Is it the moon or just the heat? Doing a dance on the dark glass. Something is wide awake out there, watching the way I move. Sit a spell on the wet stone. The water makes a clicking sound like a cat hiding in the brush, keeping count of every breath I take. I ain't scared of the big quiet. I just know I ain't alone. The lagoon has a memory. It's looking right through me now, right through me. They say a spirit lives in the root, tied up in the vine and the mud. He don't want my money or my soul. He just wants to see the show. What a show! What a show! So I'll give him a little shimmy. Give the tall palms a little wink. Life is a mess of strange sights, and I'm the best one on the beach. Pour a drink for the empty air. Let the bongo tell the truth. The island is a big green head, thinking thoughts I can't quite catch. But I dig the company. Yeah, I dig the way it stares. Me and the deep blue eye getting along just fine, just fine. Shabba-da-dum. Ooh-hoo-hoo. Bird-like trill. Keep on looking, baby. I see you too.
The air tastes like a tin cup. Nothing moves. The gray dust is heavy outside the glass. I remember the damp wool of your coat, the weight of the front door key. Back there the rain had a scent. It didn't just fall. That blue marble is far too small to hold the things I left behind. The distance is a quiet sort of thief. The clock has a steady beat. I miss the noise of the street. I'll stay in this chair for a while. Staying, it's a long way home. So quiet, a long way home.
Silver suit, tight membrane, oxygen drift, fixed coordinated drift, drift, fixed, fixed. Silver suit, tight membrane, oxygen drift, fixed coordinated. Silver mesh, cold membrane, oxygen phase, moving coordinator. Silver mesh, cold membrane, oxygen phase, moving coordinated. Motion, motion, silver skin. Silver skin, silver skin, thin membrane, oxygen loss, final coordinated, final. Silver skin, thin membrane, oxygen loss, final coordinated. Parabolic curve, infinite loop, keep seeking, never land. Loop, loop, loop. Parabolic curve, infinite loop, keep seeking, never land. Never. Gauge clicks. Flicks. Gauge clicks. Gauge clicks. Pulse of current beats hard against the glass. Pounds of force stack against the glass. Pounds of force stack on the hull. Pounds of force stack on the spirit. Pressure peaks. Cold black weight pushes back. Pushing back, pushing back, pushing back, pushing back. Ballast drops. Ballast glass drops. Steel skin shivers, but the heart stays steady. Metal joints, metal joints pop in the dark. Air is thin, oxen level slips off the scale. Ink turns to spark. Tiny lanterns burn in the salt and the crush. Electric blue. Jagged teeth snap at the void in the deep. Forska burns through the heavy black ink of the trench. Life is a pulse in a heavy metal mouth. Keep the cool. Keep the cool. Titanium stands between the breath and the deep. Surface is gone. Hold the line until the bell rings true. Wait for the touch of the silt. Hold the line, hold the line, hold the line, hold the line. Descent complete. Final point reach. Absolute chill. Watch the needle stay at 0. Gauge clicks.
Asphalt otter teals stretching toward the vanishing point. Atmospheric distortion, warp in the scorched perspective. Thermal oscillation, vibrating the sun-bleached chrome. 70 beats of the heart against the steering wheel. No propulsion besides the sheer cognitive gravity. A singular direction etched into the parched earth. The horizon is a tightening noose of cobalt. Symmetry failing under the weight of high noon. Fortitude is a calcified tongue in a dry mouth, navigating the monocratic geometry of the scrub. Monotony is the primer predator in this vacuum, calculating the survival in litters and revolutions. The consciousness drifts toward the jagged canyon floor, searching for a sequence in the random heat haze, upholding the alignment of the steel frame. Resistance is the only kinetic energy remaining. That shimmering lake is a refractic false woe, a chemical architecture built from thirsty vision. The instances of light bending into a cruel joke. Modulate the focus to a sharper frequency. Everything is motion, but the landscape is static. The temporal flow is suspended in the radiator. Seconds are merely measures of displaced heat. An existential race toward the stationary end, grinding through the heavy density of the meridian. The solar disk is a percussive strike on the skull. Resilience is the syncopation of the rotating tire tides. Calculated persistence on the highway of fossils. The fine powder is a phantom chasing the exhaust. This mirage is the only reality I recognize, steering the vessel through the furnace air into the infinite flatness of the western edge. Infinite. The western edge. Ooh, yeah. Standing at high noon, thumbing for a ride. Yeah, standing at high noon, thumbing for a ride. Got the homo hay sitting by my side. By my side. Traded my troubles for a bag of dust. I traded my troubles for a heavy bag of dust. Old Route 66 is the only thing I trust. Only thing I trust. Empty pockets, honey, they don't bother me. I said empty pockets, honey, they don't bother me. A man with nothing is a man who's truly free. Truly free. Looking for Zen in the heat of the day. Looking for Zen in the heat of the day. Just watching the asphalt shimmer away. Shimmer away. The buzzard is circling, looking for a soul. Yeah, that buzzard is circling, looking for a soul. I'm just a rambler with no self-control, no control, no control. Walking on, nothing but sky. Mojave Zen, just the heat and me. Just the heat and me. Monongahela mud stains the boots. Black dust coats the velvet tongue. I stand before the open throat. The furnace breeds a hungry heat. Tongues grip the weight of the sun. Muscle fights the pull of the earth. The anvil waits for the word. The hammer delivers the blow, pour the fire into the mold. Heavy iron heartbeat, molten rhythm, the dark. The metal while it screams, shape the chaos into form. The creator claims the throne, cold steel throne. Staccato punch of the steam press, syncopated breath of the bellows. The dross falls away like ash, leaving only the sharpest edge. I see the work within the slag. A jagged thought becomes a blade. Madness is the fuel of the flame. Discipline is the cage of the beast. Pour the fire into the mold. Heavy iron heartbeat, molten rhythm, the dark. Strike the metal while it screams, shape the chaos into form. The creator claims the throne, cold steel throne. The air is thick with orange haze, pressure builds behind the skull. No room for doubt in the forge, no room for doubt in the forge. No mercy for the soft of heart. Break the bar, bend the rail, fuse the spirit to the frame. Forged in pain, forged in pride. Look at the work, see the monster I have made. It breathes, it rings, it rings, it stands. Look at the king of the dirt, pour the fire into the mold. Heavy iron heartbeat, molten rhythm, the dark. Burn and burn.
pushing up against my floor. I said the river's pushing up against my floor. I said the river is pushing up against my floor. It's coming to collect what we don't own no more. Moss and bone, the swamp is calling for its own. Moss and bone, sinking down like a heavy stone. Spanish moss hanging like a gray shroud. Yeah, that moss hanging like a gray shroud. Yeah, that moss is hanging like a heavy gray shroud, choking out the names we never said out loud. Slow clap for the falling rain. My family tree is bending in the gale. The water's got a memory like a nail. Moss and bone, the swamp is calling for its own. Moss and bone, sinking down like a heavy stone. Wash it clean, down in the mud, just moss and bone. The humidity hangs like a damp wool coat across the span of the porch. My father's hand rests on the rail, heavy as a stone bird in the stagnant air. We watch the green sparks rise from the grass, measuring the space between our chairs and the things we refuse to say. The ice has dissolved it into a shallow pool at the bottom of your crystal glass. You trace the dampness with a thumb while the screen door groans on a rusted hinge. It is 65 degrees inside your mind, but out here the heat is a physical weight, and the insects are the only ones talking. Heavy is the air. There was a house in the marsh that burned. Nobody mentioned the kerosene, the match. We simply shifted our view toward the river, mastering the rhythm of the long, slow breath, and the way a name can vanish in the tide. The clarinet winds through the hanging moss, a low ribbon of indigo and grease. Mother is smoothing her apron again. An old habit of sun is finally sunk sunk behind the oaks, leaving us here in the thickening dark, waiting for a breeze that never arrives, waiting for a breeze that never arrives. Low humming.
To my door, yeah, the muddy water's knocking at my door. Heat lightning's dancing on the Delta floor. I'm standing where my people used to pray. Down in the mud where my people used to pray. Watching their names just wash right away. Stones are sinking down into the black. Every name I know is sinking in the black. Once the tide takes them, ain't no coming back. Got a heavy stomp and a heavy heart to match. Lord, I got a heavy heart to match. Just waiting for the river to lift the land. Down in the mud, deep in the tide, deep in the ride, let it ride. Let it ride.
Lord, we see you. I looked through the glass today at the clouds of red and blue. They call it a nursery of stars. I felt so small in this place, but then I saw a familiar touch, tracing the curve of the light. It wasn't just dust and fire, it was the work of your fingers. It is your hand I see. I see your hand moving across the deep. You are the breath in the flame. You are the heart of the storm. I am not lost in the dark because you are right here. We have been traveling so long across the silence of the night. My spirit was heavy and tired. I thought I was far from home. Then the clouds parted wide, and I saw your majesty waiting. I am standing because you hold me right here in the middle of nowhere. It is your hand I see, moving across the deep. You are the breath in the flame. You are the heart of the storm. I am not lost in the dark because you are right here. You did not leave us. No, you did not. You did not forget us. Never forgot us. You built the path I'm destined for. You are the king of the stars. I see your hand. I see your hand. Oh, I see your grace. All through the night, you are right here, standing with me in the middle of the stars, middle of the stars. You made it all, you made it all. I see your hand, I see your hand. You are the light, you are the light. Right there in the light, right there. I see your hand.
Wiping the grit from my cracked skin, the highway left me lean and gray. One more mile would have broke the car. The sign outside is buzzing red. The sign outside is buzzing red. I stepped inside out of the heat, way out of the heat. This electric blue won't lead me home. It's just a trick of the desert night. The glass is cold against my palm. The ice is melting in the heat. I'm just a ghost in a stained shirt, searching for a place to die. The jukebox eats my last silver coin. It plays a song I used to hate. Now it sounds like the absolute truth. The keys on the upright are yellow and chipped. The piano player is blind or bored. He doesn't look me in the eye. In the eye. This electric blue won't lead me home. It's just a trick of the desert night. The glass is cold against my palm. The ice is melting in the heat. I'm just a ghost in a stained shirt, searching for a place to die. This electric blue won't lead me home. It's just a trick of the desert night. The glass is cold against my palm. The ice is melting in the heat. I'm just a ghost in a stained shirt, searching for a place to die. The road is waiting in the dark, just past the edge of the light. 500 miles of nothingness, but I'm staying for another round. One more round, just one more round, just one more round.
Blue velvet under my palms, thinned out by too many ghosts. The ice against the window pane is harder than the glass, harder than the glass. The officer takes the papers, stamps a name I barely know. Smoke crawls across the platform, a heavy gray goodbye, gray goodbye, gray goodbye. That diamond pin you gave me, it bought a seat but not a sleep. The wine is vinegar and salt. The engine drags the mountain, aching up the grade. We're crossing into nothing, just snow and high, thin air. I'll pull the heavy curtain shut and pretend the world is there. Just snow, just snow. The velvet knows, the night is long. Check the velvet, heavy on the skin, ice chips clicking in a heavy glass. Midnight iron singing to the wheel, singing low, watching all the miles and the money pass. It is a long way to the finish line. I dig the motion, slick and easy. Nobody knows where I spent the day. Silk is heavy when the heart is thin, so thin. Price of the ticket is the price I pay. Don't look back, just watch the rain. Customs man coming down the aisle, looking for a name I don't use no more. Stamping the page with a heavy ink, deep blue ink, locking up the latch on a different door. Cannot go back to where I was before. The engine is talking in a low down rumble, telling me things I already knew. Keep the change, keep the company, leave me be. Just a long night to get away from you. Let the music cool the air. Across the border, night train, steady now. the velvet, yeah. The glass is cold against my temple. Water streaks the red paint outside. I have 3 pennies left in my palm. They are heavy and smell of copper. The dial spins back with a mechanical click, reaching the stop like a held breath. That staccato rhythmic rejection, a rapid succession of sharp flat tones, cutting through the damp air in my ear. It is a very efficient way to say goodbye without having to find the right words or admit that I am still standing here. Operator, verify the connection if you can. Operator, the silence between the pulses is long. I am standing in a box of glass while the rest of London disappears. Try again. I watch a single drop of rain slide down, dividing the pavement into 2 gray halves. I suppose this is the logical conclusion to a conversation that never actually began. The receiver is heavy in my hand. I will leave it hanging by the cord. Hanging by the cord, hanging by the cord.
The breath is given, the pulse is steady. We are within, the vessel is home. Is home. Small lights watch the silent path. One light flows through net peace, infinite peace. Inside the shell, the great plan, the great pulse. The breath is given, the pulse is steady. orbiting now, in the peace, steady breath, one breath, one out now. Ladies and gents, buckle those straps tight. The Atlantic is a big puddle, and we are just a tin can with wings. Look out the glass, nothing but the big sleep below. Four fans spinning rhythm, keeping the heavy dark at bay. The floor vibrates under my soles, a steady throb in the marrow. I see white caps like teeth, biting at the hem of the world. We are suspended in the middle, not quite here, not quite there. Over the gray, sailing the soup of the clouds. Over the gray, leaving the ghost on the ground. The engine sings a low tune, chasing the sun to the coast. Over the gray. The steward brings a tiny glass, a little liquid courage for the jump. One sip for the man I was, two for the man I might be. The cabin is a velvet box, ticking toward a brand new map. No wires, no ties, just the salt spray and the wind. Do-ba-da-zoom, dig-a-dig-a-zoom. Dap-dap-a-dee, steady now, keep those blades turning, bip-bop-shbam. Over the gray, sailing the soup of the clouds. Over the gray, leaving the ghost on the ground. Leaving the ghost on the ground. Chasing the sun to the coast. Over the gray, close your eyes, let the vibration take you. Next stop is tomorrow. Just sleep, landfall is a promise away.
Pop the tin top, syrup sliding over the silver spoon. Sweetness in the dark cellar, heavy lead lining the hatch door. Keep the dust out, keep the pretty in. The dial is jumping like a frantic bird, clicking out a rhythm on the stone wall. Heavyweight cool under the floorboards, checking the seal on the air intake. Do you like the peaches, darling? The flavor of 1957, preserved in a dark little hole, while the world turns to powder and dust. The needle is dancing a jittery bop, chasing the phantom in the vents. Breathe in, breathe out, control. A sophisticated leisure in the deep, wool skirts and lead-lined cabinets. Plumbum walls keep the neighbors out. They didn't dig, they didn't die. Now we're the only cats left on the block, dining on syrup and heavy silence. Pass the tin, don't mind the shake. It's just the swing of the fallout, a heavy beat for a heavy roof. such a heavy room. I remember the stroll to the mailbox, the crisp click of heels on the path, artificial blades under a perfect sun. Before the horizon caught a fever, before the sky became a burden, a shade we don't have a name for yet. Pour another glass of water, filter it through the gravel, plumb 'em blankets for the bed, heavy enough to hold us down. Stay cool, stay quiet, the counter says we're winning. Just one more peach before the batteries die. Slide the ball.
50 floors, plumb line drops, ice clicks against glass, precision. The grid below is a map of nerves. I count the cabs, yellow dots, static. I am the apex of this vertical line. Vertical line. Check the cufflinks. Snap. Geometry of a perfect silk tie. Everything fits, calculated, but the rhythm of the clock skips. It stutters like a pebble in a polished engine. I own the view. The view owns nothing. Angles, acute, obtuse. The strings stretch tight until they snap. Up here the air is thin and dry. It tastes like salt and burnt paper. Why am I still looking for the bottom? Searching. Step, step, pause. The velvet rug is a trap. I look at the window, the glass is a stranger with a bill. He looks like success. He feels like a cold tap. The piano plays a sharp fourth wrong, but correct, so correct. 50 floors, 1, 0, wait. The blue is deep, 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 stop.
The pressure is set, the oxygen flows. I watch the red, the dome is thick, filtered beam, synthesized view. Red dust highball, ice against glass. The system is functioning, the system is cold. Ocean blue, water blue, red dust highball, ice against glass. The system drink the liquid, we wait for the earth. Measured miles, calculated miles, red dust highball, glass against ice. The model is operating, the model is cold. Earth, light, old light. Red dust highball, ice against glass. The system is functioning, the system is cold. Ocean blue, metal, glass, sand, air, coordinates locked, position fixed. The system is functioning, the system is cold. Breath on the glass, Mars turns below. Falling in the light, floating all alone. Tear the world away, slide into the gray. Alone. Red dust orbit, red dust orbit, red dust orbit, red dust orbit, red dust waves of salt air, slide into the black. Radio is dry, burning in the sky. Open up the floor, spinning evermore. Falling in the light, falling in the light, falling in the light, falling in The afternoon leans against the wall. Silver spoons rest on white linen. Rain washes the street stones. Everything moves in circles. You stop by the green gate, checking the time on the clock tower. Our eyes meet for a second. Our eyes meet for a second. A small life lived in a glance, a sweet ache. Nothing needs to be said. The melody knows its way home. The guitar follows the rain. We are just notes in the air. Notes in